Hey, Battle Bill here with another video, and today we're going to get into some more Master League Go Battle League battles. So in today's set, I actually have a different set of 3 that I've been working with and have had some success with. It's a tiny bit spice, and then has a little bit of some meta mons behind it, but the 3 we're going to be talking about is Excadrill, that's a spice pick right there as a lead, Snorlax, and Togekiss behind it. Those are more meta mons. They're a little bit cheaper though, they're not like the main legendaries that everybody's used to, but I like this team a lot. I'm going to showcase it in this set of 5. It's a little lead dependent, it's more meta dependent than anything. When you're running into battles where you see Dialga or Melmetal or Heatran as a lead, this is a team I highly recommend. You'll notice it will struggle a little bit when I run into teams that have Giratina Origin or have Kyogre as a leads. But let's jump into some battles and let's talk it through, see where this team's strengths are, and see where I struggle with this team. The first battle I'm doing here is against Giratina 10, and my main hope again for getting into this battle is to see a Dialga lead, to see a Melmetal, see Heatran. The last thing I want to see is this Machamp. So, this team, pretty weak to Machamp. Togekiss is in the back as a counter, but I decided to swap in Snorlax. Because Togekiss is my main counter, I'm hoping he'll swap out his Snorlax, and then I can win Switch Advantage back and then land Togekiss on it later on. If I swap Togekiss in right away, he'll just hard counter that, and then my team will have no counter for Machamp. But if you'll notice here, Machamp is pretty glassy. I land that Body Slam, it gets it in yellow, he swaps out, and now we have a Snorlax on Snorlax matchup. I'm most likely not going to get Switch Advantage back here, but that's okay. That Machamp has less than half health, so that's a better situation than I was in before with Excadrill and the Machamp. Here, we're just going to be throwing Body Slams back and forth. I'm going for this Body Slam right here. And essentially, we're just going to be chipping away at each other through these Body Slams because Snorlax's quick move is Lick, and Lick is a Ghost-type move. Lick is resisted by Normal-type Pokemon, so when Snorlaxes are licking each other like they currently are right now, they don't really hurt each other much. They're like little pets, you know? When cats and animals start to clean each other when they lick. Oh my god, where am I going with this conversation? Anyhow, we're continuing with the licks, and he's throwing a Body Slam right here. And I'm debating on if I want to shield it or not. I end up going for the shields. I want to do this because I want to throw another 1 or 2 Body Slams at it. I could have survived that Body Slam with a very little amount of health, so he ends up getting to another one here quickly. And I'm not going to shield this one because, like I said, I will survive. And I definitely want to get off at least 1 more Body Slam, so here I go for it right here. And I'm thinking to myself what my plan is going to be because I still have to deal with that Machamp in the back. So I throw this Body Slam, he decides to shield, and I'm okay with it. I think he's going to attempt the farm down. No, he doesn't. He throws a Body Slam because it's even though I was so low with Lick being double resisted the way it is, it's nearly impossible to farm down another Snorlax with that move. So here I'm sitting, I'm thinking I go back into my Excadrill because I know it still has that poor matchup against the Machamp, so I'm going to be heavily relying on my Togekiss here to pull out this match. And I'm also trying to get some energy so when that Machamp does come back in, I can essentially throw a Rock Slide or a Charge move at it. He went for that Body Slam, it's resisted, I'm going for this Rock Slide. And now we have to see if he decides to shield it, keep his Snorlax alive, or if he's going to let it go down. He lets his Snorlax go down, which means his Machamp is definitely coming back in. And he throws that charge move immediately. I was trying to go for the swap, you saw, but because he got the charge move through, I'm not going to shield it. It's a cross chop. It's super effective. It almost takes out my Excadrill. Excadrill is very glassy in Master League. It's just very glassy, period. I bring in Togekiss quick, and I charm down his Machamp. So now I have 1 shield, and his last Pokemon is Dialga with 1 shield. And right here is my last and only hope. I actually have a chance, even after losing lead, because of how strong Togekiss is, and because of how little Dialga's Dragon Breaths do to Togekiss. Luckily, I saved that shield instead of trying to keep my Excadrill alive, because when he gets to that Iron Head, I can shield it. An Iron Head from Dialga will essentially take out my Togekiss from this health. So I'm very thankful that I made that decision. I'm going to continue to charm down as much as I possibly can, and he'll most likely get to another Iron Head. I don't remember or not. We're going to wait. Oh, we get really close, and I get to another Ancient Power. So now I'm going to throw this Ancient Power here, and this would take out the remaining health of it, which it does. So that ends up being GG. And I end up taking the first match despite a poor lead. It all depended on the switching. It all depended on him not really having much of a hard Togekiss counter in the back, but it also helped that I saved my Togekiss for later to really two-shot that Machamp towards the end of the match. So this next match is against Crystal Ball Drake. I'm going in with the same team, and I'm still hoping to run into those Dialga and Melmetal leads. I run into a Snorlax. So this is an interesting matchup for me. It's pretty bait dependent. The licks will slowly add up. They don't do a ton of damage, but you can see they're, because Excadrill is a glassy pick, they're kind of doing the same amount of damage as my MUDSLAPS are. And I'm just sitting in this. I'm going for a Rock Slide here, and what I know is Snorlax most likely is either running Body Slam and Superpower or Body Slam and Earthquake. And I don't want to get hit by either of those moves, so this becomes a very bait-dependent match. If I decide not to shield and I let the Body Slam go through, it'll do a little bit of damage, but it's resisted. So it really didn't hurt much, which is perfect, which means I can continue to commit to this Mud Slap down, and I can decide to shield here because this is most likely going to be his heavier move, which it is. It ends up being Superpower, and I'm like, even better. I shielded perfectly. That lowers his attack and defense. I'm trying to go for the farm down here. I was so close to the farm down. You saw the energy I had. I really didn't want to dump it on the Snorlax, but because his attack is dropped from the Superpower, when he goes to his Body Slam, it doesn't take me down. So I'm able to successfully commit to that farm down. So now whatever's coming in, I want to get hit by this Drill Run because Excadrill gets stabbed on the Drill Run because it's a ground type and it's a ground type move. He decides to not shield on his Garchomp, takes out about a third of its health, and I'm like, okay, this is a good situation. I could bring my Togekiss back in, and my Togekiss will deal super effective damage to his Garchomp. I'll see what comes in. It ends up being his own Togekiss. I should have been a little bit quicker on that swap, honestly, because Snorlax has an alright matchup against Togekiss, and it really depends on how many Body Slams I can get off before it essentially charms me down. So I was a little slow, but I'm still in a positive position. I have my Snorlax lined up with his Togekiss, and he decides to quit because I also had my Togekiss lined up with his Garchomp, and he didn't see a way of winning. So, off to a 2-0 start. I didn't exactly win either of those leads, so those were really great matches to showcase here. This next match, I'm continuing with the same team, obviously. And one thing that can be brought up, it might be a cheaper option and you might have more of it because it had a community day a couple months ago, is instead of using Excadrill as your lead, you can get away with using Rhyperior as your lead instead with the same Snorlax and Togekiss behind it. I'll get into more details in a minute. So we have a similar matchup like we did in the last match where it's Excadrill on Snorlax, and this, again, very bait dependent. I haven't won the lead here, but I'm hoping that whatever his big charge move is, I'm able to shield it, and he's not able to bait me with a Body Slam. So I'm going for this Rock Slide here. Waiting a second because of lag. It lands right there. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, what do I think he's going to do? He's gotten a bunch of energy, and if I want to win this matchup, I got to shield the right move. I decide to shield here. It ends up being a Superpower, and I'm like, awesome, great play. His attack and defense drops. I'm thinking to myself, this is probably another Superpower, but Snorlax doesn't get stabbed on Superpower, and it also just did one, so it's nerfed. So he lands that one, and I'm able to survive it. He goes for the immediate switch, which was a really good play on his part. I couldn't even get off my Rock Slide. I saw him switch, and I'm like, I'm almost dead. I need to get off this Rock Slide. Couldn't even get it off. I bring in Togekiss, which will take down the Machamp, but that waste of energy from my Excadrill just going down there ends up setting me back in this matchup a bunch more than I prefer. He goes for a Rock Slide, lands super effective damage. I didn't want to shield that because I'm already at a 2-to-1 shield disadvantage. If I shield that, then I'm at 2-0 shield disadvantage, and you can't win a lot of matches like that, unfortunately. So I'm going for this Ancient Power here. He had just brought in his Kyogre, and I'm just hoping for a boost so I can get some extra chip damage. The Kyogre's Waterfalls are going to do a bunch. He shields it, so I bring in Snorlax right away. He's going for a Surf here, and this is like a battle of tanks. This match moves a little slow. Essentially, he's going to keep on waterfalling me and throwing as many Surfs as possible. I'm going to lick down his Kyogre, and I'm going to throw as many Body Slams. But I am going to build up to the Earthquake because I want to kind of try and get the shield. He decides to switch and bring in his own Snorlax. I don't know if that was more of a sack swap. It's an interesting decision. The Snorlax had a decent amount of health, though, and all he really did was kind of just let me do good damage to his Snorlax and farm it down. I feel like that set him back, but I'm already in a bad spot, so it didn't set him back too far. I don't have any shields here. He still has that one shield in his Kyogre. I'm trying to bait it out with his Body Slam, but even if I do land the bait, which I do, the waterfalls that he's about to throw are going to be too much for me to get to the next Earthquake. If I could have just barely gotten to that Earthquake, I think I could have pulled out this match. I'm pretty sure I lose this match. But I'm going to throw this Body Slam. I'm going to bring in Togekiss. I'm going to hope I can charm it down. The waterfalls and the charms kind of equal each other. I have one last shield here, luckily. So it's really coming down to the wire. He goes for his Surf. And I get another charm in at the same time as his waterfall, and I actually am able to pull out this match. It was a close one. I really couldn't remember. I did these battles like a day or so ago. Like I said, I've changed my team a bunch, trying to get used to something. I like this team a lot and would recommend it, but I would only recommend it under the condition that you're running into a bunch of Dialga and Melmetal leads. So keep that in mind. No team is perfect other than the main meta 3 that we talk about all the time, Melmetal, Dialga, Giratina, Origin. But everything else, you really just need to find the right matchups and play it out. So, into this next match, I have Excadrill on Togekiss. Now, this could be a positive matchup for me, but I would need to be running my Excadrill with Metal Claw and not Mudslap. Mudslap's a ground move, Togekiss is flying, so it's resisting. Luckily, he swaps out, so I'm like, okay, you want to play this like I've won the lead? I'll take it. I'll bring in my Togekiss to go up against his Giratina, and this matchup goes a little bit differently than how it goes in Ultra League. Essentially, because Giratina Altered is so bulky, in Master League, when it maxes out, its defense is going to be higher than it would be in Ultra League. So these charms are doing good damage, but they're not doing as much as the charms from Togekiss would do in Ultra League. And essentially, because of that, this Giratina is able to get to more Shadow Sneaks and is dealing a lot more damage than I would have expected. So I'm sending these charms through. He's getting another Shadow Sneak through, and I'm thinking to myself, if I want to keep switch advantage, I really need to shield this. I think I want to commit to the charm down here, essentially because I have all this energy and I want switch advantage back, so that's what I'm going for. But notice how low I am. I essentially left that matchup, and Togekiss is almost in the red, completely done. So I go for the Flamethrower, I clicked on that here. I'm going to try and land it on his own Togekiss that just came in. He decides to shield, so I'll take it. His Togekiss is able to charm down mine. And right now, I'm not in the best situation because my Excadrill has Mudslap and not Metal Claw. So I'm debating to myself, I should probably bring in Snorlax, play this out. Because I could have gone with Excadrill and thrown a Rock Slide, but he still has a shield, so it wouldn't have landed, and Mudslap takes a while to charge up those charge moves. So his charge moves coming through right now. It's another Flamethrower, which does good damage, and I'm still thinking about, and I'm worried about whatever Pokemon is in the back. I'm hoping it's some sort of Dialga. I'm hoping it's a Melmetal, because he showed me a Giratina Altered, he showed me this Togekiss, so I'm kind of assuming that it would be one of those Pokemon. But now he's just charming me down. I'm going for another Body Slam here, and we're just playing out the time. Like I was saying before, I also recommend this set of 3 with Rhyperior instead of Excadrill. That would be a cheaper option, and they have some different play. Excadrill doesn't take super effective damage from Dialga's Iron Head, whereas Rhyperior does because of Rhyperior's Rock typing, whereas Excadrill has a Steel typing, so it actually resists it. And then Rhyperior is also it takes double super effective or 4 times super effective damage from Kyogre's Waterfall, whereas Excadrill takes super effective, like 2 times super effective, because it's still ground, but it has that Steel typing instead. But where I would recommend Rhyperior over Excadrill is that it has Surf, which is an easier charge move to get to than Rock Slide, and it also has Rock Wrecker, which does solid damage because it's a Community Day move. So Rhyperior definitely has its play in a similar spot to Excadrill in this type of 3, and I would recommend that 3 also if you're facing those Dialga leads, those Melmetal leads, those Metagross leads, the Heatran leads. I'm just kind of repeating myself, but you know, sometimes when you do these Go Battle League battles, you face the same types of leads over and over again. And you know what I mean. The way Niantic tries to set up your matches, for whatever reason, that ends up happening. So we play out this match. He had the Snorlax in the back. He ends up taking it from me because I was hoping for him to have a Melmetal or a Dialga in the back, which would have dealt super effective damage. And because he had Snorlax, it was really hard to just get off my charge moves, and Snorlax is so bulky. So I end up losing that match in the set, and right now I'm currently 3-1 going into the last match. And this last match is going to be against Mendo 7. So, like I said, if you want to try this 3 and you don't have the resources for an Excadrill, try a Rhyperior. Now, I got a good lead here. I got Excadrill on his Dialga, which is a great lead for me. I can essentially farm it down, but he goes for the immediate swap in the Snorlax, and I'm debating to myself if I want to bring in Togekiss or if I want to bring in Snorlax. I go with Togekiss here. They both would have had even matchups. My main goal here is to just keep switch advantage. My concern is what's his third Pokemon and which one of Snorlax or Togekiss would have had a better matchup there. So that essentially ends up determining this match. I'm going for as many charms here as possible. He's going for this body slam right now. I decided to shield it because, like I said, I want to keep switch advantage. I want to try my best to make sure my Excadrill ends on his Dialga when this match is over. Because Dialga, again, really can only do solid damage to Excadrill if it lands a Draco Meteor. The Dragon Breaths are resisted, the Iron Head's resisted, so Excadrill has a really good matchup there. He ends up shielding that Ancient Power. I'm going for more charms. He's throwing another Body Slam here. I decide not to shield this one because, again, I don't like to be down both my shields if my opponent's not. And I think that might have been where I made my mistake here. He's licking me down, I'm charming him down, and it's a really tight race, and that is where I made my mistake. I should have shielded that. I wanted to keep switch advantage. I thought my Togekiss would have been able to take that Body Slam and then pull out the charms to finish him off. Unfortunately, wasn't able to. So now he's going for his charge move here. His Snorlax essentially farmed down my Togekiss. He lands his Body Slam on my Snorlax, and now I'm just trying to lick him down and essentially just get a little bit of energy for whatever he decides to bring back in, which will most likely be Dialga because he doesn't want my Excadrill to land on it. He does bring in his Dialga here. And now this becomes a bait-dependent match. I'm going to build up to the Earthquake, and I'm going to really hope, because I have my shield, that he doesn't use his shield. And if I land this Earthquake, it'll essentially take out the Dialga. It'll get it all the way into the red, and it does. So I'm like, okay, this is great. So I swap, I bring in Excadrill to finish off his Dialga, and now this all falls on this last Pokemon, and that Pokemon ends up being Rhyperior. So the other Pokemon I recommend in Excadrill's spot is coming over here to deal some solid damage against my team. I'm throwing my Drill Run here, which would be super effective, but he has a shield, he blocks it. The shield didn't show that it would have been super effective, but it would have been. And now he just Mud Slaps and gets a bunch of energy. That's one other advantage for Rhyperior. It wins that matchup because of Excadrill's Steel typing. The Mud Slaps Rhyperior throws end up being super effective. Or, actually, no, the Mud Slaps I throw on his Rhyperior are super effective too. Rhyperior is the bulkier option. That's the main reason why. And at this point, I'm like, great, I have this shield, and I'm not even going to be able to use it. I can't get all the way to an Earthquake. I throw this Body Slam as a last-ditch resort, and you'll notice here, it's not going to take out his Rhyperior, and my extra licks aren't either, and he's being smart, not throwing his charge move, and he ends up finishing me off with that Mud Slap. So again, one other positive to running Rhyperior instead of Excadrill is the fact that it is the bulkier option over Excadrill. You'll notice here, these were actually a set from my Marrow Day battles. I ended up taking 3 out of 5. I was happy with that team. I was happy with the set I was able to put together there. Right now, I'm in the phase of Master League where I'm essentially just trying all different types of 3s to see what can stick and to see what I'll have the most success with. I really do like this 3, and if the meta gets back to the point where I'm seeing more Dialgas and Melmetals in the lead, I will 100% be using this team for more battles. Right now, I am testing a new team. I'll have another video on that as soon as I possibly can. Let me know if you're going to test this team. Let me know if you're going to try the variation where you have Rhyperior as a lead, because all of us should have a bunch of maxed out Rhyperiors, or at least more than enough candies, and hopefully a good IV one with Rock Wrecker because of the Community Day move. Other than that, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.